Another area I remember that I was struggling with was like lack of visibility at work. Like even though you like think you're putting in effort, but it didn't really like necessarily translate into like growth. I think definitely like a huge chunk of the work was really getting like good at negotiation. I think one of the tangible outcomes I remember during job search, I got an offer and we were able to work through it and negotiate like increase it by like 100k plus.
Hey Sahil,
Hey, Yogi.
hey, welcome to this short chat on talking about coaching. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Before we get started, Sahil, can you introduce yourself, who you are, what do you do, where you're from?
I'm Sahil. I work as a software engineer in Bay Area. Working as a software engineer now for about like 12 plus years.
Awesome. To just dive right into this, I want to ask you, how do you learn about me? And before you came to work with us, where were you? What were some of the challenges you were facing?
Yeah, I think I remember I learned about you by watching your talk on Paro platform that I still follow, and that's where kind of
That was the talk on negotiations.
yeah, it was the talk on negotiations at Uber, and then that kind of tied into like some of the areas I knew I was lacking in, like especially like negotiation skills when it comes to like salary negotiation during the job search. Another area I remember that I was struggling with was like lack of visibility at work. Like even though you like think you're putting in effort, but it didn't really like necessarily translate into like growth. So those were like I would say like two big factors for me personally. Just started looking at you know maybe coaching is the way to fix that.
I'm glad we found each other. Tell me, what results did you end up seeing as a result of working with us? Tangible or intangible? We can talk about first tangible results, meaningful shifts you saw.
I think definitely like a huge chunk of the work was really getting like good at negotiation. Part of it was like working with you, Yogi, and Natalie, doing a lot of walkthroughs of different scenarios, both the psychology behind negotiating as well as like really learning that you also can come from a point of leverage rather than just it's not a one-way street. Gaining that perspective was really good. Plus a lot of practice during our coaching sessions. That really helped me get really better at negotiation. And then I think one of the tangible outcomes I remember during job search, I got an offer and we were able to work through it and negotiate like increase it by like 100k plus during that. So on the other side, I really got to see some of the mistakes that I was making, some habits that I'd built where I thought like just doing the work is good enough. I really learned like okay, as you get more senior in you like have to learn to communicate, showcase like the work is visible to the right people in the org. That was a major point for me. And then we all know like job search is stressful. Kind of slowing down and doing this notion, learning this notion of like slow burn job search really helped avoid like panic triggers. When things are not going.
Yeah, I remember we talked about like it can be very stressful to look for a job and you need it. And we started doing slow run job search. In a few months, you had a few offers. And of course, the 100K increase you mentioned from a large tech company also.
One thing definitely comes to my mind is rather than just like working on technical stuff during job search, but there's also like this mental work you have to do to deal with stress. And that's where like coaching specifically helped me build those habits. It's not that the stress goes away, it's just that you get better at managing it.
And especially during the last couple years, the job market and your work has been a lot more stressful. So working with that in a mental way also has been super helpful
Yeah.
for you. You worked with us for some time, have gotten these results. Now, how is life different from the time you started working with us? How things are different now?
Definitely a lot more confident around job search, and negotiating just used to be my Achilles heel. And then that's gotten a lot better with a lot of trial and error. Just the work we put in coaching really helped develop a very healthy pipeline as well. Really not feel like Eric, you have to take the first offer that comes your way. So
I
that's what.
remember you did a few offers also in this process, right?
Yeah. I got a few offers, some really lucrative ones, but we like really thought through like rather than just like looking at numbers specifically, also think through like if it's the right role for me or not. In long run, there were some that we like decided to say no to as well, which was definitely difficult to do. Kind of that was the work through coaching that helped me like dissect. Do I really want next? As a side effect of this as well, more of like a happy coincidence that I was able to get a promotion from senior to staff. I know we had like discussed initially, like I'd been like at the same level for a while, and then where I thought like okay, I was kind of ready for the next level, but there were certain blind spots that I had around communication and like visibility. Like it really helped me bridge the gap during coaching, and that I would say like that plus like technical work you still have to do and deliver, but in both in conjunction really helped me like.
Absolutely. And I think that's something, working on the visibility part, working on our communication skills, and of course, your technical skills were strong and you continue to contribute tremendously there. Combined with that, of course, that leads to, good results in the current job also.
I think one thing like just during the whole experience, it's helped me build more confidence, both like when it comes to job search, talking to like different stakeholders during that, plus especially like with improved communication skills at work, that also like has helped. It just feeling more confident in my role.
Good man. Good. This is really good to hear. And it has been a pleasure working with you all this time for me and my team, Natalie and everybody. Now shifting gears a little bit, what were some of the concerns you had when you started coaching with us?
Well, I didn't even know there was like career coaching available until I saw the talk by
Yeah, me
accident.
neither. And then I used to work at Meta. I never knew this was available.
Yeah, I kind of like felt like either you like are born with those skills or like you're not, and then just like anything else in life, prove at it. And sometimes it needs, like coaching and like some help from outside. So yeah, one was just like really like I had like no idea this was even possible. And then
Now, how did you learn? I think you mentioned learn through Taro Talk.
yeah, basically that's the another thing taboo as well to some extent, or especially like growing up in India, it's like it's not something that you like. It's a bit uncomfortable to go like really like talk through your problems, and also it's definitely like seeking help can be challenging as well. That's where like I'm so glad like I've really found there's this coaching available to like really help.
Yeah, you worked through a lot of that also, by the way. I mean, I had that also when I was, starting this work. It just both as a coachee and a coach, it's hard to talk about things and seek help. Now that you've gone through coaching for a while now, uh, what would you say to somebody who is still considering coaching, and what will you tell them?
I would say like a few things. One thing really learned is that it's going to be time consuming, and so it's like you have to be really willing to put in the effort as well, and really work with your coaches. And it's not just like one way street where like you still have to do the work at the end of the day by yourself.
Maybe help you be accountable and help you do the work, but you still have to do the work. Yes.
Another thing I would like really, and there's something I learned along the way, is that it's not gonna be like linear thing that you just like you're attending coaching and like you kind of like growing like linearly. That's not how it would work. There's going to be ups and downs, and but it's just that you learn to recognize like when you do like slip up again, okay, how to handle that better, and it takes a while really like both tangible and non-tangible outcomes to show up. So it's consistent work.
That's a very wise thing to end at, that things don't just come linearly. I remember for you also, there were like few weeks and few months at times where nothing was happening because like, well, things don't align, and then bunch of things happen at the same time. Yeah, thank you for those words of wisdom, and I think that's helpful for me also and for everybody listening. So thank you, Sahil, for your time. I really appreciate it. I look forward to continue to work with you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Yogi.